Alright, so I want to talk real quick about what it takes to do a 15-inch brake conversion on a Chevy Caprice. If you're one of my current subscribers, this is a little different than what I normally post, so I apologize if this is not what you're looking for, but there's a group out there that I think this would be beneficial for. So, your normal caliper brackets are going to look like this, that come on your car. This right here sticks too far out to get a 15-inch drag radial to fit on a Chevy Caprice. So if you're going to be running 15-inch wheels, what you're going to need to do is get brackets from a Pontiac G6, G8, and they will need to be the V6 version. So if you look at the brackets, the ones for the G8 set in just ever so slightly. So parts that you're going to need for this is you are going to need to change out your brake rotor. Your rotors that come on the Caprice are designed for this caliper bracket, so this caliper bracket will no longer work. So you're going to need to get G8 V6 rotors. You're going to need to get G8 V6 caliper brackets. There's a lot of people who get those used, so you can find those on Facebook. That's where I got these from. Your normal caliper is going to work just fine, and then you're going to need to go ahead and get your new pads. As far as I can tell, your pads and all your pad kit, the part numbers for the Caprice and the G8 are the same. So you should be able to go either way and find the parts that you want. Doing the actual conversion itself is pretty easy. You're just going to go ahead, you have two 18mm bolts that are on the back of your bracket, and your caliper will be sitting in the bracket with the brake pads. So quite simply, remove those two 18mm, take your old brake pads off, take your caliper out. You're not going to need this anymore, so you're going to be getting rid of those or doing whatever you want with them. And then you're going to be taking this caliper bracket. It'll slide right into place once you put all the new hardware and things like that onto your old caliper, replacing your rotor with your new rotor, put it all together, put your new brake pads in there, and everything goes back together the exact same way. Depending on what wheels you'll be running will depend on whether or not there's other things you're gonna have to grind. For example, I had to grind down this lower control arm right here a little bit. There's some people who said they've had other components that they had to grind down, but for me personally, all I had to do was grind down this surface right here, and it wasn't much. You can see if I ground down just about where those numbers are, it came out maybe a quarter of an inch past that. So you grind it down to that point, and that will clear the front of your wheel, and then grind down the control arm. That's all that I personally had to do, and my 15-inch wheels will fit on there. My rotors were pretty stuck. I tried to use just a rubber mallet to get them to come loose, and they wouldn't, so you may have to get something a little bigger, a little heavier. I had to use a pretty heavy hammer to get them to come off because they seize pretty tightly around this hub right there. So it's really an easy conversion. You don't have to get a whole lot of parts to do it, and you should be able to swap it out pretty easily.